Welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. On today's video, I would like to talk about OMG Network once again, and also I would like to thank you for watching my previous videos and liking the content so far. So let's get started and let's take a look at OMG Network compared to Bitcoin on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, what you can see is clearly that OMG Network got started, it outperformed Bitcoin massively, and afterwards it had a major decline, and it has not been able to recover from that major decline. You could clearly see that at this point in time, in July 2020, we saw this major pump compared to Bitcoin in its strength, and afterwards we have been trading quite sideways, and it has been accumulating for quite a while now. So what is my theory actually about this? I personally think that OMG Network, I think it is very likely that we're seeing the dawn between two mountains getting created, and I think that is very likely to occur, that we will eventually see a major increase compared to Bitcoin. But of course, this has to be proven, and it's yet not still being proven by OMG Network. So a little bit taking a closer look at the current price action, what I think is very interesting is if we place a Fibonacci retracement, and I will be placing the Fibonacci retracement by selecting the swing high, but I won't be selecting the wicks of the candles, but actually the body or the close of the body of the candle, and that is actually at this point in time over here, all the way towards its all-time low at this point in time. So you can clearly see that if we zoom in a little, we are actually trading quite below Bitcoin's performance has been previously. Like for example, during past year, we were majorly towards the upside. You can clearly see that it was a major increase in OMG Network's price action. You can clearly see that it went, let's say, almost 360% towards the upside, and right now we have currently not seen any type of price action like this. So that is something I think is for me personally, I think it's not very good. But what we discussed during the past video is actually that we were seeing a trend reversal getting started. That trend reversal is still there. You can clearly see that we broke this downward sloping resistance at this point in time, and that we have been going up ever since that point when we were able to break above this downward sloping resistance. So where could we possibly be heading towards if we stay on the right track? Well, my personal opinion is if we stay on the right track, just keeping to find support on top of this upward sloping support line, I personally think that it is very likely that we'll be heading towards the 0.236 level eventually, once we see also Bitcoin's price action increase, because this is of course not a major type of cryptocurrency, and those tend to perform very well just a couple of weeks later than what Bitcoin has done. So I'm personally still very hopeful that we will see a major increase, finding support on top of this upward sloping support line, and that we will eventually see a breakout above the 0.236 level of Fibonacci compared to Bitcoin. So for sure, this is something I would like to monitor closely. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the moving averages. You can see clearly right now that we are getting rejected by the 200-day moving average. This is something that does concern me quite a lot actually, because if we are not able to stay on top of this upward sloping support line, I think things are going to go very differently with OMG Network. We perhaps might once again break below this upward sloping support and trade sideways for a while, and that could possibly mean that we won't see any major type of price action on the OMG Network compared to US dollar chart. So right now, currently, I'm very hopeful we will find support on top of this upward sloping support line, eventually break out above it, and as well breaking out above the 200-day moving average, finding support on top of it. And what I think is very, very important is actually that we will see eventually a crossover of the 50-day moving average and the 100-day moving average, being able to surpass the 200-day moving average. And if we see that, eventually we will have a major stronghold of support underneath. Right now, it's currently looking not very bright to me. I must admit, I must say that I am very hopeful that we will find support on top of the upward sloping support line, so we can continue with this uptrend. But that is also just a matter of time. If we take a look lastly at the MACD, you can clearly see that we are still in a major uptrend, but what does concern me is that we are heading towards a crossover, perhaps in the upcoming week. And if we see a crossover on this chart, this upward sloping support might not be able to actually hold strong. So I must say that all OMG Network holders right now should actually take a look at these indicators, and what they're actually telling us is that we have to be very careful right now, and we have to stay on top of this upward sloping support if we would like to see a continuation of this trend compared to Bitcoin, and also a continuation of the price action of OMG Network. So if we get a little bit further and take a look at OMG Network compared to the US dollar, what you can clearly see on the daily time frame is that we are heading as well towards a crossover on the MACD. I think this is also something you would like to monitor very closely on the OMG Network compared to the US dollar chart. This could possibly mean that we will see a decrease in its price action, but why I think it's looking a little bit better on the OMG Network compared to the US dollar chart is actually that we are actually seeing a crossover almost occur on the daily time frame. On the moving averages, we are clearly seeing that the 100-day moving average is almost above the 200-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average is also heading that way. So that could perhaps mean that we will find a major level, a stronghold of support at this point in time. So just to make this clear, I will be placing this horizontal level of support exactly underneath at this point in time. You can clearly see that the orange line, it has been a major level of support and resistance. We were getting rejected by this level at this point in time, and afterwards, once we broke above it, we found support on top of it before we saw a major increase. And this is why I think this level is a level you should consider as a major level of support, but also due to the fact that we are seeing the moving averages over there serving as a cumulative level of support as well. So this is looking for me quite well. Unfortunately, the crossover on the MACD is very significant as well, and this major momentum towards the downside could eventually mean that we will see a breakout underneath this level of support. Right now, I'm just hoping we will find support on top of it, so we could see eventually the price action of OMG Network increase afterwards. So let's get started by taking a look at the OMG Network compared to the US dollar chart on the 4-hourly time frame. But before doing so, I would highly appreciate if you could follow me on Twitter at Toro Crypto. I've been placing a lot of notifications about XRP and also about all other types of coins, and I would like to keep you up to date with news that I think is very relevant for the cryptocurrency space right now. And of course, you will be able to stay up to date about all my current videos. So thank you very much if you would like to follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to hit that bell notification as well on Twitter so you can stay up to date. So let's get started on the OMG Network compared to the US dollar on the 4-hourly time frame. And what we are clearly seeing is that all moving averages are serving as support. What you could see is actually that the 100-day moving average served as a major level of support twice already, also at this point in time, but as well over here once we broke below the 50-day moving average. We were able to find support on top of the 100-day moving average, and right now we are currently finding support on top of the 50-day moving average. For sure, I think all these moving averages will serve as support, but perhaps this major level at $5.15, where the 200-day moving average is currently at, will be the major stronghold of support that I've talked about previously. So before heading further, I would like to enable the MACD. You can clearly see that the MACD had a crossover. We are seeing downward momentum getting created right now, and that is exactly what you can see as well on the price action of OMG Network. You are clearly seeing right now a lower high structure getting created, and perhaps we might see a even lower high getting created heading towards that level at $5.15. And right now I would like to take a look at the RSI. The RSI, you can clearly see we were heading towards the overbought area, except at that moment in time we were getting rejected. And what I think is very important and nice to see if we are spotting any type of bullish or bearish divergence, and I could clearly immediately see a bullish divergence on the RSI and on the chart. Why? Because if you take a look at this over here, we are seeing a slight higher low getting created and a lower high on the RSI. This is of course a bullish divergence, but I personally think this won't have any influence on OMG's price action due to the fact that we are seeing as well the crossover on the daily time frame of the MACD, and that will have a lot of influence right now. So perhaps this might help to stay right now on top of this level of support. As you could clearly see, this was a major level of support previously, finding support on top of the previous level of resistance, and I think this is a stronghold as well at $5.92. But I think unfortunately eventually after the crossover on the daily time frame of the MACD, we will be breaking underneath this, especially because we do not have the moving averages underneath it. The only thing that will be holding strong is perhaps the EMA ribbon, but I think unfortunately that it is very likely that we will see a movement towards the downside, getting underneath the EMA ribbon and finding resistance underneath it instead of finding support on top of it. So for me right now, OMG Network is not looking very great. Of course, eventually I think it will perform very strong. So if you are a long-term holder, do not hesitate. I think this is a major moment and you should just wait this. You could perhaps sell a little of your OMG Network. Of course, not financial advice, but that is something I personally would do. And if we see a breakout all the way towards the $5.15, or perhaps even heading towards a lower target, I would accumulate even more OMG Network by buying this once again at a lower price. So selling it right now and buying at a lower price. So this is a lower price where you could probably buy some more OMG Network. So of course, I really hope you enjoyed this video so far. These are the levels of support where we are currently at. The $5.92 level where I personally think we won't be able to hold strong. And I will say that my personal opinion is that we are heading towards the $5.15. And what I think is even more important is that the $5.50 has to hold strong, because otherwise we will see eventually a breakout that will be even greater than what it would be if it would be heading towards the $5.15, because from the current moment all the way towards the $5.15 it would be a 16% decrease in OMG's price action. I think this is already a major drop for the current uptrend where we are at, but for sure it's still healthy. If we see a breakout occur underneath the $5.15, then my personal theory would change a little. I think that we would be heading into once again a small tad of a bearish momentum on OMG Network, perhaps finding support a little bit further down. All the way on this part in time would be my suggestion to actually say that the next level of support is going to be at $4.21. So what I'm just saying is try to monitor the market closely. And I personally, if you have a lot of gains right now, perhaps if you were able to buy OMG Network at this point in time when it was trading at approximately $3.60, you perhaps might have already saw a major gain, and I would just take profits and try to buy a little bit on a lower part. For sure, this is not financial advice, but it's something that I personally would like to do in this situation right now, how the OMG Network chart is looking. So thank you very much for watching my videos. Don't forget to subscribe down below. And also, if you're interested in my previous OMG Network video, don't forget to watch it down below. In the description, you will find as well a link to my previous video, or you can find it as well in the altcoins playlist on my channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day.
Centralized, now we on the fun shit. I'm the new R&B, leadership's nemesis. When we go to Mars, I just hope that he remembers this. Used to shop on binance, now they